Right, this is the MVHR unit. So basically, it's a supply and extract fan. It extracts air from the kitchens and the bathrooms, pulls it in, and then it also pumps in fresh air into the lounges and bedrooms. It's important that it's left on, otherwise you could end up with damp issues. Your control of your MVHR unit, it runs continuously on a trickle mode, but you also have a boost switch in the kitchen and a boost switch at the side of the light switch in the bathroom. It's important that when you're cooking or when you're going and using the shower that you use the boost switch, because it ramps up the speed of the fan just to suck that extra moisture out of the air, and then you can turn it off afterwards. There is a filter in there in each side, and probably I would say every 3 to 6 months you just open the flaps, take the filter out and give it a hoover, put it back, and that'll keep the system working. It is efficient, it's not expensive to run, but it is very important that it stays on. Right, this is a ground source heat pump, so this is equivalent to your boiler rods. It does all the work. There's an isolation switch down at the back for it. That should be lit up and left on all the time. That means the unit is on. The green light also shows you that the unit's on. There's a light next to it, which is a little sun. If the light above the little sun is on, that means it's in heating mode. The next symbol is a tap. If the light above the tap is on, it means it's in hot water mode and the heating is working on your cylinder, not your radiators. The next symbol along is your fault symbol, which a red light will come on if there's a fault on the system, which is generally one or two things: low pressure on the ground source side or low pressure on the apartment heating side. You can see this from two little gauges on the system. The one down near the heat pump, that shows the ground source side, and the one up near the red expansion vessel is your radiator size. These should be above 1 bar, and if they drop below 1 bar, that's why likely the system is gone off on fault. If your system has dropped pressure and the black needle is below 1 bar, you can top the system up yourself, which is similar to what you might have done on a combi system. So just to top the system up, you just need to turn the 2 black levers, and then you're looking for a pressure over 1.5 bar, ideally just under 2 bar. Once you're back up to that pressure, you can then switch off the black levers and your system should be fine and working again. If that hasn't got your system working and it's still on red, it's likely to be the ground source side, and at that point I would recommend calling out an engineer. If you bleed your radiators, you need to come back and check this is still over 1 bar, and then you will just need to fill the system, as mentioned before, turning the 2 black levers, opening them up, getting the pressure up, and then turning them back off. Your hot water is heated via your ground source. There's a start on your cylinder. This should be left somewhere between 55 and 60, ideally at 55. Your water heater light should be off. This is the immersion. It's only needed in case of emergencies. If your heat pump system's gone down, you can use this to turn it on and you'll get backup of hot water. It's only for emergencies, and 99% of the time it should be switched off. The best way to control a heat pump system is just to leave the system on constant. So turning on your system, at the minute you can see they're off. If you press the hot water select button, it moves it into program mode, on all day, which takes it onto the last program mode, and then you press it again, it takes it just to on. That means the system will be on 24/7. Same with your heating, you press it on, it puts it onto programming mode, press it again, it takes it onto the last setting of that program mode, and you press it again, it just goes to on. It will work on a hot water priority, so if you use your hot water and the temperature drops, it will go off heating mode into hot water until the hot water system is up to temperature. At that point, it will then go back to your heating. Once it's gone from hot water mode to heating mode, your system rises about 1 degree every minute or so, so it can take 20 to 25 minutes to get up to the 45 degrees. Hence why one of the reasons if you leave the system as on constantly, it's better for the system, it prevents it going too cold. This might lead you to think that the heating system's not on, but it is rising, but it's just a gradual process. This is your room stat. As we recommend that your heating system's left on and constant, this will be your overriding control. What we would recommend is you find a temperature that you feel comfortable with, which tends to range between 20 and 23 degrees. This stat set at that temperature will try and maintain that temperature within your apartment. When it gets up to that temperature, it will knock your heating system off. Once it drops below that temperature, it will bring your system back on, balancing the system throughout the apartment. Don't worry about the efficiencies. The efficiencies are better to run it this way rather than letting your apartment drop to cold and then heating back up fully from cold back up to your temperatures. It is more efficient to leave it on and letting your room start do the controls. So your radiators, if you're used to a gas-fired combi boiler, you would have noticed to get up to about 70, 80 degrees, which are really hot to touch. This heat, with it being a ground source heat pump system, these radiators only get up to 45 degrees, which are just lukewarm to the touch. This isn't an issue, everything's sized to cope with the 45 degrees. You'll just notice a big difference from previous systems where they're really hot to touch. These will only be lukewarm to touch. Because you're running it at a more lower temperature, at 45 degrees, the system will work better if the system's left on constantly. Each room is fitted with a TRV. This can be used to control the individual temperature of each room. So some people might like the bedrooms to be cooler than the lounges. You can set your settings. These can be adjusted to suit your needs to lower the temperatures in each individual room.